Look, connect with me on all social media platforms. You know what my favorite two platforms where you can support and follow me? And guess what? It's free. The first one is Instagram, CVMK33. And the second one, YouTube. YouTube at CV Space K. You can follow, listen to the podcast where all podcasts are streamed. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever your podcast preference is, it's on there. I have an amazing episode featuring an amazing rising talent out of the Dallas, Texas area. She goes by the name Duchess. Duchess, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Hey, just living a dream, living the light-skinned dream over here, man. Just another day. So I appreciate this, Duchess, so much. But before we get into it and ask you these questions, I want to highlight your music, let the audience feel what you're doing so they can have their own questions. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Awesome.
Tell me I got a knack for this. You know I go to bat for this. You know I'm really tapped into this. Felt like I was made for this. Tell me what you want from me. I'm talking me to me. No, I do not want to feed. Just wanna play my feet. My hunger will not go to spree. Purpose, I want you to find me. It's getting real grimy. I ain't got.
Look, we're back. So I appreciate it. That was amazing. First of all, before we get into the song interlude, right? Why music? Why, this is, 2021. You could do anything. You could run for president. You could become a pastor. You could become a gym instructor. You could open up Chick-fil-A. You could sell weed. I mean, like, what, right? You could do it all. What made you want to go down this avenue?
Okay, well, music has just been a part of my life. Like, growing up, my dad went to school at Howard. We're from the West Coast. So my dad bringing that East Coast influence, that rap, that hip hop, and coming from the West Coast with, Snoop, the greats, Tupac. That just really it was like a melting pot. Then we moved to the South. And all the, Southern influence. My mom's family is mainly from the South. So we always used to come out here to Texas for our family reunions. So we always did road trips. We never flew, which, I always wondered why we didn't fly. But the road trips, it was all worth it. On those road trips, I would hear like that blend of music. And, I would stare out of the window, and I would just, imagine like a story just going on in my head, like a music video or whatever. And I just knew then, like, I really loved music and I loved how it made me feel. I love how, immersive it made me feel, especially like when it comes to like, emotions. I battle with some, mental health issues. So being that sometimes I don't like confrontation. I mean, I'm pretty sure nobody does, but I don't like confrontation. I'm very passive. Also, it's hard for me to vent. Like I have my few people to vent to, but still it's always that brick wall because I'm so vulnerable and I'm afraid of how people will, view me. So I just write it all out in for my music, and it helps me express that. It helps me, actually free myself of, those thoughts, whether it's happy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this today. Let me write it down. Let me write how I'm flexing, or like, let me write how, I wanted to react to this situation, but I was too, afraid to. So music is just therapy. Really, it's therapy for me, and it's fun.
Yeah, I get it. So what was the you talked about his release? You talked about some of the struggles that you go through with Illuminate, right? Like what inspired that particular song, and why release it the way that you did? I mean, I was listening to some of the content in the music. It seems like it was like an avenue that you just wanted to open up into the world. What kind of led behind that inspiration?
Just me being fed up with my self-doubt. Like I feel like as humans, we doubt ourselves so much to the point where, we feel like we can't do it or where we're not capable. We're always looking in everybody else's lane. And as comparison is okay sometimes, but comparison is a thief of joy. So I just got fed up with feeling like, I'm not good enough or like I can't do what I want to do in life because I'm afraid of what people may think, or I'm afraid that I'm not gonna, be the best person I can be in what I do and how I do it. And I just said, forget that. I got all the tools, I got all the utensils. I'm gonna make sure that you see me. I'm gonna make sure that you felt them because what you mean? I got it. Like that, like literally word for word. I was talking to myself because I just had to get over that hump that, oh, nobody's gonna, appreciate this. Like, why am I really doing music? Why are you really doing the thing that you are so passionate about? The moment you take your eye off of that, that reason is the moment that you start self-doubt. And when you let people in your ear, that self-doubt engulfed me, and I was sick of it. I was tired of it. And I said, I'm going to start speaking positive in my life because, positive things can and will happen for me. If I'm in a negative space all the time, I'm just going to get negative everything, So I just wanted to make that for me, not only for me, but for other people who feel the same way. Like, there are times like I said, we're all human. So there are times you're going to be like, oh, I can't do this. But, you got to pep yourself up. Like you're doing this for a reason. Like this is what you love for a reason. So go for it with your best foot forward and know that you and your team, your family, your support system will rise up and you'll be just fine. More than fine. So yeah.
I like the answer. What how would you describe your music, right? Like, so I've said this, every era has a particular sound, and depending on the era, artists kind of blend and mesh. It's kind of hard to separate because that sound is what sells, right? So how would you describe your sound? How would you describe your music?
It's a vibe. I think it's it's vibey. I think my music, I consider myself a melodic rapper. So, very fluid. I would like to say my music is. I can really tap into any type of, sound or wave. So definitely versatile, a vibe, fluid, relatable. That's how I describe my music.
It's a vibe. I like it.
Vibe.
So what is the goal? I think I've interviewed a lot of artists, and I always ask them, like, what is motivating? Like, is it the Grammy? Is it the million Instagram followers? Is it the billion streams? And we all want to be successful, right? Like, I'm not stupid. We all want to be successful. Yeah. Anybody that tells you they don't want to be successful or doesn't matter is lying. It does matter. It might not be the driving force, but it definitely matters. Definitely. So what is that for you? Like, what does success look like for you?
Well, I think for me, success within this craft would definitely be inspiring people and just being able to like let people know, hey, I'm human. I went through this. You probably might go through this too. But here's how I went through this situation. I hope this song helps you. Or when you're down, I hope this song, helps you get out of your funk or your depression. Or if you have anxiety, I hope my voice can calm you down, because that's what music is for me. So if music is like that for me, I want my music to reflect that as well. Like, I want people to be able to immerse themselves in my songs and be like, man, I've been there. Like, literally that song, I had people texting me, I play this every morning, like, because I was really in a funk, and this really motivated me. This really like, I shed a tear, and I actually cried making that song too. Like, so it's just the dialogue. I like to create dialogue. I like to see people like really like, oh, you actually listened to what I said, so it makes me feel good to be heard, and it makes me feel good that people feel heard by listening to my music. So that's really my main goal. I think I would be the most successful if I can be like Michael Jackson and have people crying to my music. Have a stadium, billions and billions, just crying, really feeling it, like really just feeling themselves and feeling my music because they're feeling themselves. So it's like perfect. Like that's what I think. That's what I know success is for me.
I got it. You mentioned Michael Jackson. I like Michael, right? I was born in the 80s.
Yeah.
Despite whatever, I like Michael Jackson, right? I think Michael Jackson is the GOAT. I don't think anybody has come close to his impact on music. Beyonce, okay, but like with Beyonce, Beyonce is great. No, she's fantastic. Beyonce is otherworldly, but like Michael's like another level. Like I've never seen people like pass out with like Beyonce, right? Like
so you haven't watched the Beyonce concert, have you?
No, my wife is part of the Beehive. I only watch it because I like Beyonce. She's fantastic. First of all, she's phenomenal. And I put Michael, Prince, Beyonce. Like that's my ranking, right? Because I think those artists have achieved a level that I'm not saying can't be done, but I'm saying it's so hard to duplicate that. Their reach is beyond their genre. Their reach is beyond, like my grandmother might know a Michael Jackson song. My grandmother might not know a Beyonce song. And obviously my grandmother's 93, so I doubt it. You probably shouldn't, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like Michael's reach, and Michael has 50 years of music catalog. So maybe in 10 years or 20 years, I'll be like, hey, they're on the same level, But right now I still have Michael over it. Who has influenced you? You mentioned Beyonce. Who out there has really impacted how you go about music?
I will say Beyonce. Definitely Beyonce, Sade, Erica, rap wise, A Tribe Called Quest, Tupac for sure. Sheesh.
Sade music is depressing. I like Sade, but if you listen to those lyrics, if you were mine, I wouldn't want to go to heaven. I'm like, I don't love nobody that much.
Okay, that's all. I was a little iffy with that song, but she's so like. But I'm inspired by a lot of UK artists. There's this artist named Leanne LaHavis. She has a beautiful voice, and like her music, like wow. Yeah, I'm really a big fan of Dom Kennedy. He's a rapper out of California too. South Outkast, Andre 3000. Love Andre, Pimp C. Just I feel like whatever moves me. Honestly, there's this guitarist. I think his genre is folk indie. Bon Iver. Yeah. Music inspires me, period. Just it don't matter what the genre. If it has a message and meaning, if it makes me feel a way, that's it. Yeah.
I got it. What do you say to critics who say that today's artists aren't singing? They're auto-tuned heavily, they're prepackaged. It's more about the marketing. It's not about, getting on stage, mic in hand, singing and performing. What do you say to those critics?
Your time was your time. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, generation, like each generation is something different. So everything is evolving, whether people like it or not. And to those critics, grow up, like like be for real. Like, are you really upset that people actually know how to actually market themselves even better than they did in the past? Are you hating? You know what I'm saying? It's like, be more open, if anything. And, there's always going to be artists who are out of the box. Yeah. There's always artists that's going to be in the box. There's always going to be mainstream. There's always going to be underground. That has never changed. So that's another thing. Like, people swear things have changed and things is different when it's really not. Like, it's been the same. Like, just how, in the 90s you had, your conscious rap and you had your fun rap and you had, rock. and then you had, you know, nice little Beatles rock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's always has been a difference. It's just evolving into something different, but it's still the same layout. So I really feel like the critics need to just take a chill pill and enjoy the ride, because you never know, you might find somebody new in this new modern age that you like, and you're like, hey, I can actually get with this, because you can. You're just being stubborn.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I totally agree. If you listen to some of those old, like, I love music in all genres, right? I love rock, I love rap, I love soul, R&B,
Yeah.
gospel's my favorite. Obviously I'm a believer, but I just love music. I don't know if I have like, you know, my playlist will go from Kirk Franklin to Gucci Man in a second, or it will go from or it'll go from Karen Clark Sheard, you know, to Beyonce. Like it just depends on how I'm feeling at that moment. You know, I just like music, but I do think that sometimes we major in the minor and we're not realizing that this has already been said and done. You know, if you listen to those lyrics, I admit they weren't as direct at what they were trying to say. It was definitely more tamed and more conservative, but it was the same ending. It was the same message, right? It just they went about it in a way, probably presentable way, but it was definitely the same. When you think about where music is right now, and I feel like no other time has music been dominated, and not dominated, but led by women, right? Like the hottest artists out, 95% of them are probably women, right? It's led now by women.
Yeah.
Like, how does that inspire you? Do you think this is the women empowerment movement, that your music is finally capturing the true feelings that has always been there? Or do you think that in some way it's still placating and demeaning women? What are your thoughts?
Well, I definitely believe that this is the woman's renaissance. Like this is the years, the century of the woman, and I am all for it. Like I'm very inspired, because not even in music, you see them dominating in a lot of male dominant industries or lanes, and it's like it's crazy because, you know, of course you had, you know, women's rights in the past, and you know, it's still working up its way into, you know, modern day society. But seeing that really has inspired me and a lot of my, you know, gal pals. Like we're really moving forward. Is it still demeaning to women? Of course. Like, you know, until women have the same pay rate as men, it's always going to be, you know, there's going to be some demeaning, there's going to be some control, some sort of want of control. And it definitely sucks, but I definitely see the light. And you know, these women who are trailblazing and, you know, making moves for, you know, women just like them to, you know, move forward and be successful and, you know, dominate in their craft. Like, you know, it's just amazing, and I'm just super honored to even have the courage to do what I do, because, you know, a lot of women didn't have courage or are still afraid, you know. To see women like really dominating this industry is just hope.
I like that. I like that. Tell us about the journey as a female artist. You know, I'm not a musician. I can't sing. I grew up in church. I was like the worst of my family when it came to singing, so I didn't sing. You know, I preached. You know, so I don't have to sing. You know? So, but you know, everybody has a different journey, and there's a different journey that men go through than what women go through. A lot of subjectivity. Talk to us about that journey. Like, you know, when you're an artist and you're trying to, you know, be heard, and I'm not hearing anymore about, you know, be signed, because now you can create your own label. You know, there's more of an entrepreneurial focus to that, but it's still a different journey and a different set of expectations. Shed some light on that. What is that journey like?
It's definitely gonna be tough. Like it's going to be very tough, but with the right people and, you know, around you, the right support system, it'll be fine. You do have to watch out for those creeps. Like you just want to make music and they want to do more than that. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my way. That's not my lane. I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. I'm not here to judge, but you know, You do have to watch out for that. You have to make sure, like, really be strong in what you do and firm in how you want to be presented, because these people will literally take your craft and turn you into something else that you didn't even want to be. Now you have to live this out throughout because you're signed now, or you got something major on you now. So now you have to create this whole new character because they stripped you away from what you used to. You know what I'm saying? And they'll probably try to reprogram your mind and say, oh, this is you, coming out or doing this or doing that. Like they'll package it up real cute. So you have to just really be strong and firm with, who you are. Definitely watch out for managers. Like you don't need a manager until you can't manage yourself. And that's just that on that. Or unless you're like Beyonce and you're like, I can't manage myself, because Beyonce.
All right, she's on another level. She's otherworldly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, like there will be times where you feel like, you may not be, where you're at, but enjoy the journey, because it's like we get so caught up in where we want to be, to the point where we forget, oh dang, I actually could kind of smell the flowers where I'm at right now. So just it's a journey. Enjoy it. Be mindful of your, yourself. Take care of your mental health, because it can get crazy. There are some sad days, there's some happy days, there's some days where you're just confused. But it just all comes with that package. So, that's how I take it. And
I like it.
I hope people can understand that. Yeah.
Is there a price on music? And what I mean by that, I interviewed a rising hip hop artist out of Chicago. His name is Schaefer Jones. And I asked him the same question. I said, if a label or whoever comes to you and says, like, I'll pay you $1 million, but I want you to rap about this. And I've heard it so many times. I've heard it from artists that have been featured on The Breakfast Club. Like whatever the contract says, that's what you have to put out. It's not like even though if they don't necessarily agree with everything, but it's a job. If a label or whoever says, hey, look, Duchess, we think you're the next big thing. We think you could be the next Beyonce. We're offering you $100 million to do this. You have to make a song about this. Is it like, hey, that's not me, I want to do my own music? Or is that something worth considering? Because, I think sometimes we like to pretend like things don't get to us, but we all got bills, we all have things, so it's like when we're trying to hold fast to integrity and who we are as a person and our values. And at the same time, it's like, I just got to make a 3-minute song about, partying up in a club, and I don't even go to club. I might just talk about going to club. You know what I'm saying? It's not harmless, right? So
yeah. So
what is that like? Because I'm sure you've been approached. You get hit with, hey, can you sing this? Can you, this is what I wrote. Somebody produces or gives you this. What is going through your head?
I would say the first thing that goes through my head is, okay, what is this content about? Because if it's something that I'm not comfortable with, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I don't care how much money you give me, I'm not gonna do it unless we can come to an agreement. If there's a certain part that I don't want to rap about, or I don't want to, do my thing and say about, you have to be able to compromise with me, because I could probably do everything else around it. But if there's something that's really not with like my morale, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I just feel like, like, yes, be yourself, yes, try new things, but if it's something that's you're not comfortable with, it's okay to not be comfortable with. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Like, I feel like people are so risk. Like, yes, take risk, but if you're seriously not comfortable in that time period, it's okay to not be comfortable.
It's okay to say no, people. You don't have to say yes to everything. No, that's the magical word. I'm not with it. No, I totally agree. I'm glad you answered that. So what's next? That's we previewed the song. What do you have coming down the pipeline? What music video is about to release? What is gonna happen next for you?
Okay. So what's happening next? I have a EP coming out. Probably late February, early March. Be on the lookout for that. It's called Yin. It's literally my most favorite pieces of work that I've written. Um, it's really and when I say yin, it's of the Chinese philosophy yin and yang. So yin is the female principle. And I just wanted to shed light on being 25 and a female, and a woman, like what I went through, like love wise, and just being a woman and all the emotions, the lit emotions, the toxic emotions, the loving emotions, just really, I feel like this work embodies who I am. So it's very exciting. Big shout outs to Heartbreak Jones, my brother, who helped me, make this whole entire project with the producing. He produced all the beats. We sat with each other and, came up with the beats. Shout out to ODO Wave for engineering and everything. Like I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I'm nervous because it's like this is like, oh, you're a woman now type of,
Sure.
EP. So it's like, it's just I'm speechless talking about it. So be on the lookout for that. Like the versatility, the growth in my flow and the growth in my writing has just it's shown throughout the whole entire tape. So it's exciting. I'm excited.
I like it. That's coming out late February, early March.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question for you. If you had to work with any artist, collab on a song, and I'm probably guessing it's going to be Beyonce, just because you mentioned her, who would that artist be? You could pick anybody.
Ooh, that is so hard. Isaiah Rashad.
Why?
Because he is just how he raps, what he talks about, like it's very inspiring to me. I should have said his name for the inspiring because he is inspiring to me. His music moves me, like that sounds so cliche, moves me, but it does. Like I can literally like put myself in his shoes. Like that's how in tune he is with himself and his craft. So I feel like we would make great music together and it would just be amazing. So Isaiah Rashad, I would in a heartbeat. Hey, you want to? Yes, like
Isaiah Rashad, you heard it. If you out there, Duchess is ready to do the track.
I'm ready. I'm ready today.
Awesome. Duchess, where can they connect with you? Where can the people follow you? Where can they support you? Where can they download and stream? How can they support you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at DUCHY number 9. That's Dutchy Dutch 9, not Doochie Dooch. Thank you. My Twitter is the same thing, just without the number 9. So that's at DUCHY. You can find all my music on all streaming platforms. Just type in that DUCHE $, and you'll see me.
Awesome, guys. Connect with Duchess. Follow her on IG, Twitter. Stream, download, support. Look, it is free. I know this is revelational. It's free to follow somebody on Instagram.
It's so free.
What does that mean? It means you actually like the person, the content they're putting out. It supports them. It makes them feel like, hey, I'm not doing this and not being heard. It encourages them to go further. And you know how you support this podcast? Subscribe to YouTube, K, or you can be up in the Cash App. I'm always on the Cash App up there. Either way, guys, I appreciate this. I appreciate my guest, Duchess. You've been amazing. Support her. She's an amazing gift, not just to music, but amazing gift to humanity. Support gets supported. Until next time, guys. Thanks. Bye. Hey, what's up, everybody? You like what you saw? Were you entertained? Were you informed? You want to keep seeing amazing content? Subscribe at the link below. YouTube, CV_K. You connect where all podcasts are streaming. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Connect with me. I want to connect with you.